Okay, day 176 of One Brotherhood. Back to the slides. This is part one. Going to be looking into Imran's car dealership today. The car dealership was a bankruptcy by his brother Abid in 2012. But a lot of things led up to the car dealership. They had Imran and Abid had a couple of cars repossessed in 2008 by the Congress. The Congressional Federal Credit Union still loaned them money after that to the car dealership. It defaulted. The car dealership lost over $1 million somehow. The car dealership took a lot of consignment from other dealers. A lot of car dealers ended up dead. So there's a lot of things to look into here. By the way, with a recent Cleveland shooting, I think you're going to find that's going to end up with the killing of 2 car dealers at the bottom of the whole story. Anyway, I'd like to send this to Project Veritas, Project_Veritas. This is James O'Keefe. He kind of does the hidden camera stuff. People are saying I'm kind of developing a James O'Keefe style. I try to announce right up front, I'm a reporter, my name's George Webb, but I get the idea of, in-your-face journalism kind of thing. And then let's go to RT UK News again, which is Faye Turnbull. And I'm in D.C. today, so I would like to meet with RT here in Washington, if that's possible. So it'd be great to send at RT_news, I believe, as well. So you can look up the RT here in the United States. But drilling down here, we're going to go into the kind of the business connections of the Brotherhood here, the business connections, the USAID and overseas foreign aid, and why it might be advantageous for Imran to be on the Foreign Relations Committee or represent people on the Foreign Relations Committee. If you don't remember Abid also was making $164,000 a year. He took over the car dealership in 2010 after the 2 car repossessions. It could very well be, people have said that all these Awans, maybe just Phantom Awans, the only person anybody's ever seen is Imran Awan. I'll be asking that same question to everybody today. But Jamal, of course, here. And then we're going to get back to this nanoset technology, which I believe is going to involve a person at the car dealership. If you don't remember all the companies that they once started, here's the 22 companies. A lot of mortgage companies, Avalon, Affordable, Elaine. Of course, these bankers don't question when hundreds of thousands of dollars come in and out of these accounts, and that's why they're great for laundering money. The same thing's true with car dealerships, a little bit to a lesser degree, but more frequent transactions. So we're talking about the car dealership here in Falls Church on Washington Street. Going to be going all up and down Washington Street here and looking into that. Here are the folks that were involved in the lawsuit. This is Nasir Khattak. Khattak is there's also a prime minister in Pakistan by the name of Nasir Khan Khattak. I don't like Nasir Khan Khattak very much because he is a well-known CIA, Pakistani ISI mole inside the parliament. And in Pakistan, he's always tried to undermine my favorite cricketer, Imran Khan, but that's another story for another day. But this is Nasir Khattak, and you'll see Nasir Khattak is mentioned many times throughout the lawsuit paperwork for Abid Awan. He's involved in the dealership, investing money in the dealership. Now, the interesting thing about Nasir Khattak also is that he's got this company called Microtron. Microtron almost looks exactly, here it is, CEO Microtron, looks exactly like Solyndra. They're selling the battery technology and the solar technology. And here he is at the Paris Climate for United Nations. This is the United Nations USAID. I have friends of Hillary. I want a nice big grant of $500 million. I can't remember what Solyndra got, but this is Solyndra in the making if Hillary would have won the election. Nasir Khattak. The other person, now Nasir is also involved for some reason in First American real estate, not First American title or First American anything else, but First American real estate. So it should be firstamericanre.com. That is run by a guy named Zia Hassan. Here he is. Here's his LinkedIn over here. He runs that. Been in business in Maryland and Virginia for about 20 years, running and selling real estate. Of course, the other person involved in the car dealership is Alatar, the doctor who did the fake billing for 2.3 million, the guy who has a problem with seemingly anesthetizing women and then raping them in their sleep. So, and then also with lots of ties to Hezbollah. So this association here, normally I wouldn't question these two associations, but this association here makes me question both of these associations, especially because Nasir Khattak is the CEO of Microtron, and yet finds time to be a real estate broker executive for Zia Hassan. Now, just interestingly enough, there's also a meeting at the White House by Omar. You're going to remember Omar is the fourth brother who seems to be uninvolved with the other three Awan brothers, with Zaid Hassan, Zia Hassan and Zaid Hassan, educated in Pakistan at Lahore University. Then he came over to University of Texas. I don't want to say the University of Texas is a CIA training ground, but it has been known in the past to Ted Cruz's dad, probably the most famous UT grad there of their CIA training program. But Zaid is the outreach person, the business community outreach person at the White House for Barack Obama. Now, he would have ties. Would he know? Would Zaid Hassan know Imran? Would Nasir Khattak, being in a business, know Imran Awan? Would he know Abid Awan? Would Al-Attar here know Imran Awan? Would Zia Hassan know Imran and Abid? Today's mission is to go and find out and see if anybody knows and has ever seen Omar or Abid or Jamal. So here's Omar, if you can't remember. All the other guys, the other three Awan brothers were making over 160K. Omar Awan's down here at a lowly 147. He's the senior business applications specialist at the Congress. So that means PeopleSoft, I believe. I believe he has access to the PeopleSoft records. Ever since I did the piece on him, still nobody has come forward and said, hey, I saw Omar last week. Now, he supposedly lives in Fredericksburg, which is about an hour and a half from here, hour and a half from D.C. But again, there's an Omar R. Awan that's involved with a trading company in Illinois, in Bolingbrook, Illinois. He also says he doesn't know the Awans, the Awan brothers. Omar says he doesn't know the Awan brothers. But you can see how close this Hagel Circle, this 980 Hagel Circle in Lorton, Virginia, and how close this 7455 Wounded Knee address in Lorton, Virginia. You can see how close that is to the Hawkshead address. The Hawkshead address, again, is where the Marine stood on the pedestal there in the night and said, yes, stolen Blackberries were here, and yes, 4 stolen laptops were here. Now, interestingly enough, Zaid Hassan, I believe, worked and still works for Valerie Jarrett. So we might have to go over to the Shadow White House today as well and say hi to Zaid Hassan and Valerie Jarrett. But that should be interesting. And then, of course, the other person is Khalid in the car dealership. I'm talking about the CIA car dealership in Falls Church. Is Khalid Mahmoud. Now, is Khalid Mahmoud the same as Ashraf Mahmoud, the killer down here? The guy who was doing gold transport, moving cars around and so forth? The guy who killed the car dealer in Richmond, Virginia? I don't know. There's also a Khalid Mahmoud who's a member of parliament in the UK Parliament. So it could be that Khalid Mahmoud. Who knows? But still interested in finding if this person here, Ashraf Mahmoud, got a visa. He does the killing in March of 2015. There's a meeting at the White House for an emergency visa a month later. So I just want to follow up that lead. And again, here is the Hawkshead Drive, the Marine standing on the pedestal saying the stolen Blackberries were here, the stolen laptops were here. Just across the street, on the other side of the freeway, is where the 2 other Lorton addresses are, and Omar is just on the other side of the freeway here in Lorton. So we're going to go to those addresses today as well. Okay, that's the plan for today.